Pecha Kucha 122, my first Fivesquid job, and even more logo stuff. So I got my first job halfway, well, last weekend. So when I recorded the last Pecha Kucha, I was halfway through it. I probably mentioned it. I can't remember. Not sure I'm looking to do more. It wasn't a bad experience, but whatever. This week, for whatever reason, was also the week I started listening to a fuck ton of Joe Rogan experiences. I started with Mike Tyson. It was very entertaining. I can't remember if I was listening to it while I was working. I probably was, and it probably helped. Mike Tyson's a cool dude. He's well adjusted for being a living legend. I then watched the JRE 1000, and Joey Diaz. He just kills me every fucking time. He's probably the funniest human being that's ever lived. And when Joe Rogan goes off as well, he's laughing in the background. It's beautiful. This is the value of life right here. Can't get enough of Joey Diaz. I did some drawing on paper, jazz hands, Spider-Man, penciled it, and then I inked it with a Pentel brush pen, and I also used a fine liner I found on the floor once. It's like the best ink pen I've ever found, and somebody lost that thing. It's do they call that serendipity? Or whatever, it's not a good picture, but it's good practice. So the Fivesquid logo is for Casa Mandala, which is some kind of yoga retreat thing in Portugal. Casa means house, mandala is some kind of spiritual symbol, so I tried to put the symbol under a roof. You know, this is what you should do when you're a logo designer, make it unique. I wanted to do the bottom middle one, and we kind of made an amalgamation of some of those logos with different fonts and stuff. The client sent me this symbol, and I tried to like uncomplicate it, add more white space, because then it's less obviously copyright infringement, and because it looks better in the long run. So I think this is the final design I sent her. I'm sure you'll agree it's £5 well spent. I'm not sure if a gradient fill is a good idea to put on a logo that's meant to go in the real world, but it's Fivesquid. I can't have all the answers. I'm not. You can't be a professional if you work for this kind of money. Speaking of this kind of money, I sent her 2 different color variants of the logo because she felt so guilty about the work I did and me getting a fiver for it. So she offered to pay twice. So I sent out. So we just put another job through, and she paid me again. So it was the best possible experience you can have, but I'm not sure I'd call it good. I managed to make my way through a 6-hour YouTube video of Jim Lee drawing an entire page of Superman for Action Comics 1000. Very informative on a lot of levels. Watching Jim Lee work is great. Also, watching him stream is very interesting as well. Those are 2 different things. I watched Jerry with Trevor Vale, who's clearly a professional anthropologist who has to pay his bills by being a bartender. And that kind of disturbs me. It means even if you're really good at what you do, that might not be how you make your money. So that's something for me to think about going forward. Right, so what is this about? This is the Sidemen logo. Sidemen, there's some YouTube guys. They've taken a brand and they sell stuff. The Kanique clothing guy I'm working with, who wants a logo, he says, "Give me something like this." We've been going through this for a good 7 weeks now, and here we go again, right? So I'm trying to take his old ideas and put them into this kind of shape, because a modern crest is what he's asked for, but a crest is all about heraldry. It's about griffins and wings and ribbons and crowns, but he doesn't want any of the stuff that makes it a crest. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to do what I can. I think the bottom right one is getting somewhere, but then he turns around and says, no, do me something like this. This is actually something him and his business partner have put together, not for the first time. So he's just told me, take this, put it in black, and we'll figure something out where we combine these 2 elements. But they don't really fit together because you've got a lot of stuff that's angular, but they're the wrong angle. There's no harmony. So I've kind of done a half-assed job of trying to fit these things together, knowing full well that I just have to redesign the thing to make it work. But if I redesign it, then I'm not actually following the brief. It's a bit frustrating when you're in a situation where you're told what to do and then you do it and then it doesn't go anywhere. Then the guy says, put the Union Jack in the background, but make it black and white. And then it's like, so he wants black and white on black and white and expects that to be readable. I'm messing around with the opacity and adding color just to show that it doesn't work. I think I made my point. But I say that, but then the next thing he says is, oh, well, then just put the Union Jack in color, or switch the logo to the other thing, which whatever this arrow thing is, it fills the space of a hexagon much better. The bottom line is this client has had some good logos to use, and he's come up with most of them himself. He should just pick one and move on, because this just will never end. And it distracted me from my Colt Cougars draw this week. It was Jaggy. I was thinking about doing Jaggy when I did Akuma. No, when I was doing Smiley and Vegeta. Jaggy's a bad man from my favorite anime. It just makes sense. I kind of ended up rushing the finish. I was adding color, but it's not where it needs to be. But the beautiful thing about this is it has the intended effect that this entire YouTube thing is about. Is it made me run off and go do some work, because I'm like, no, I'm not happy with this. So I just stayed in Manga Studio and do what I do, which is start a load of different things and finish none of them. But there's stuff to work on here. Will I? Probably not, but I see that there is enough potential in these things that if I found the right way forward, it would be nice. They could be nice. So Sad Clown of the Week is The Predator, whichever Predator film this is, I can't even bloody tell you. I just watched the Cinema Sins video on YouTube. It's so much better than watching movies. You just see how bad they are without having to pay any money, or actually watch the movie. I think this is either the most recent one or the one prior to the most recent one. It's got an incredible amount of callbacks to the original Predator movie, which I am a massive fan of. None of them make any sense. The plot is full of holes, and it's got maybe my favorite terrible cliche of all. The bad guy is secretly the good guy, even though there's no actual proof. Right, so that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 122, and I will see you next time.